Good evening, viewers, and good morning, viewers, from wherever you're watching, whichever country you're watching from. And today it's JNM1000 show. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank every single person who is watching from whichever country you're watching from. Welcome to JNM1000 show. Today we're going to be talking about mental health. And I tell you what, mental health is a subject.
Good evening, viewers.
That
and good morning, viewers, from wherever you're watching.
I beg your pardon.
You're watching from. And today,
sorry about that. And I tell you what, today is a very special day, and we're going to be speaking about mental health and well-being. Our subject today draws me back to stigma and mental health. You know, how many people know about what is good mental health? The viewers, I can see so many questions coming in already, and everybody is liking, and thank you so much for liking. But we're going to be talking about mental health because let's talk mental health. Hashtag is let's talk mental health as well. And of course, I would like you to hashtag at JNM1000. Hashtag at JNM1000. If you're calling on my show today, the telephone number to call is 077 423 84052. That number again is 077 423 84052. Let's talk mental health. What is mental health, and how many people are happy to talk about mental health? You know, here in Britain, at least I've seen very good effort, even with, I would like to appreciate Prince Harry and the son, and of course the royalties. You can see their kids are actually talking about mental health. Let's talk mental health and what it means to us as a people and as a nation. Did you know that 1 in 4 people, out of every 4 person that passes, one of them suffers mental health? So I would like us to reflect and to take it back to ourselves. How are we able to remove stigma, and how are we able to bring those issues about mental health right here live and discuss these issues openly? I'm also going to be asking questions about how do you look after your health. You know, with me, I'm going to be sharing some tips later on as well. And I think that is going to be something that I feel that is important. And if you're interested to talk about what is mental health, please do call us on 077 423 84052. My show is all about social, economics, politics, and let's talk. Of course, top point, as I say, African Wonder Woman here today, right down here, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank the producers of this program, and of course your one and only Heritage TV. We thank you, and the founder is Ade Thomas. We thank you for the work that you're doing for the community, because without people like you, we are not able to also air. And there's many other community leaders who are able to share our programs. But in particular here today, for my show, JNM1000 show, please help me to share this as well if you're watching. We're talking about stigma and mental health. So wherever you're joining me from, tonight's show is all about stigma and mental health. What is mental health, I'm asking? What is good mental health? What is your position right now in mental health? How do you feel when people talk about mental health? How do you feel when you're feeling low, or how do you pick yourself up? You know, I know about those moments myself, and I know that those moments can be quite really challenging. But what I'm going to say to you is, you're not alone. And I would like to encourage every single person who is actually watching here today that we need to be thinking about good mental health. And in doing so, I want us to think about spiritual I want us to look at emotional. I want us to look at the physical. I want us to be able to support each other. I want us to be able to just really, really think about what is good health, well and being. Health and well-being. Yeah, how about that? If we talk about health and well-being. And of course, I'm promoting good health, mental well-being. Your one and only Juliet Macapila here, right down here today. So I also want us to compare the mental health here with people in Africa. As you were a child in Africa, did you ever think about mental health? And I know I'm asking this for a question because in Kenya, whenever you hear mental health, you don't even understand perhaps what it means. But here in Britain, at least there is some kind of awareness. But in Kenya, you're really looking at a mad, person when somebody says, so I quote. And yes, so what is good mental health and what is mental health? Do we understand the difference? Do we understand when to seek help as well? And how do people, and especially the BME community, cope with mental health? I'm asking you a question today. How do you cope with having good health? How do you cope in enhancing your emotional being, your physical being, and of course your spiritual being? I want to appreciate the churches back in Africa, and in particular when I'm thinking about how interfaiths deal with the way they support people. Are we saying that in Africa we have good mental health well-being? I know there's a lot of debate here in the West and thinking about the issues that are going here in Brexit. In fact, the other day somebody told me there is Brexit and mental health. And I had to question myself. I beg your pardon? You know what I'm saying? Apparently this issue about Brexit is making people even depressed, or causing mental health. Now that's a new one. Has anybody thought about that? So mental health, stigma and mental health here today. If you're watching here today and you'd like to come to my show here today, the telephone number is 077 423 84052. So, how is mental health viewed in our African community? How is mental health viewed in our African communities? I'm asking again. Is there a way that is it a way that we look at it, and how do you see it? Let's say you were living somewhere in Africa, and also if you're living in Europe, how is mental health viewed in Europe, and how is mental health also viewed here in United Kingdom? Are people fearful in talking about mental health in all these countries? Are people fearful when someone comes and tells you, oh, you know what, this, you've got something is not working in your head? There is those kind of connotation that you find that people sometimes will speak about. How do you cope with that? So yes, thank you so much, Hamida Kawa, and of course Dave Took, Simon, Rocky for joining in. Many thanks for that, and I give you a shout and a wave. I'm talking about stigma and mental health here today in the studio. So how do you talk about mental health? And thank you so much, Julie Foster, for joining in. At JNM1000, please help me to share this video. It is at JNM1000 and live here today for those who would like to be joining on the show. Every Thursday, by the way, I will be here. I will let you know what time. Vincent Kibega Akimbolade, many thanks for watching, and thank you so much from wherever you're joining. I've got people watching from Nigeria, I've got people watching from Kenya, and of course I've got people watching from Coventry, and I've seen all of you. because it's a live show as well, I'm happy to say that we are trying to use and combine all the technology that we have, so we are able to sort of share, so and also bring live coverage to you, whichever countries. And I know you've all got different times in different countries, so bear with me as we still try and sort out whichever country you're watching from. Jean Coleman, I bring you on as well. Today is all about, and we're talking about stigma and mental health. So stigma and mental health. I want to help bring awareness about stigma and mental health. I want us to be able to talk broadly about these issues without fearing. And earlier on I said I want to appreciate the royal family's children for talking about these issues about mental health. So let's talk mental health, I'm saying here today. Let us talk mental health. I want to bring in the challenges faced as well. And why are people fearful? So I'm asking, why are people fearful in talking about issues with mental health? If you'd like to give me a wave there, I can see that as well. So please, please, please put your answers so I'm able to bring your answers as well. Why are people fearful in bringing in the subject of mental health? Is it natural? We know so many times people might be going through different things, and every day, I don't want to say that, and when do you say that somebody is suffering from perhaps depression and stuff like that, and the different diagnoses that people are given? So let's talk about diagnosis. In terms of diagnosis, when people are taken into care and hospital and like that, do we think that we're giving a lot of stigma to those people? And what's your view on that anyway? Shirley Ball, lovely to see you here today, and thank you for joining in today. I really appreciate every single person who's joined in. And of course, I want to suggest that we need to be talking about mental health, and not just in United Kingdom, but across the whole world and wherever you are watching me from. Let's talk mental health, I'm saying here today. What are the challenges about talking mental health? And we know very well that the challenges for talking about mental health are people are fearful, and people will always feel that there is stigma attached to these issues, and so people are really, really scared emotionally to even share these issues. I want to bring in an issue of confidentiality as well. When people tell you their little secrets and stuff like that, how well do you keep those secrets? How well do you enable those people to confide with you? How well do you put your trust in those that you deem to be your comrades or friends? Are those people able to support people, and I quote, the well-being of people? That is very, very important. So let's talk about friendships and relationship. How is friendship and relationship with many people? Would you be able to say you've just got comrades, or you've just got people who are just friends and real friends? And who are true friends? Are we able to distinguish between true friends and friends who are just there, or just people you meet for a drink? And what's the difference? Does that bring mental health as well? I'm asking here today. Stigma and mental health is my topic here today. And thank you to every single person who is joining in. Giddy TV Nigeria, I thank you for watching from Nigeria. Richie Anayo, and of course Henry Van, Ekanem Robertson, many, many thanks. A wonderful, lovely lady who also brings in topics and different topics. And of course, George Mkombozi and Rosaline Fadipe, many, many thanks for joining in. She's also a very lovely community leader. Brenda Dempsey, I love you to bits. Thanks for watching us as well. And Brenda also supports people to write and author books, and I love you and I flag you for that, Brenda. here today in the show. And the show again, people are asking me, it's at JNM1000 show, at JNM1000 show. And yes, it is Heritage TV. He said to me, Juliet, you have to be up every single week. And I keep saying, okay, I will come, and I do it. But here we're talking about stigma and mental health. We were supposed to have a live guest here today who has cancelled. The person cancelled here today. So I apologize for her cancellation, but I'll find out later that she did not turn up today. But we're talking about mental health. What is good mental health, I'm asking? How well do you support each other? How well do you look after your family? Here in London, for example, let's take a scenario and let's take a situation whereby many people, I'm African by background, and I'm proud to say I'm an African lady, and I love being African, and I love everything about Africa, and I also love to blend these issues with, the values here in Britain, and thank you, UK, I'm also British as well. So I love to say I'm from the soils of Africa and Britain as well, and I love to share that widely. But we're talking about mental health. What is good mental health wherever you are? Bosi Muhalanka, who is also a musician, I want to thank you for the South African music that you normally give us. And of course, we're talking about mental health. And just by listening to her music, you can tell that, we distress. So when we are distressing, and what is good mental health? I want to promote good mental health and well-being. Richard Fay, many thanks, and Irene Eribo Ani, we thank you for joining in as well. She's also the founder of Ebony, and Richard Fay as well does a lot of good work with autism persons, and many thanks for your brother as well, Bradley, who normally comes up on show. You're watching the JNM1000 show here today. So someone asked me when I started. I started 2 years ago, but I do them in episodes and all that. So if you'd like to come into the studio, the number to call is 077 423 84052. I repeat, that is 077 423 84052. And if you'd like to be my guest, let's talk. And usually I just normally say it is Talking Point, a talk point place, and it's a JNM1000 show. Our show normally focuses on the social, economic, political, and of course the welfare of so many other things. Mental health. What is mental health? If you'd like to define to me, I would love to take the definition of mental health from WHO, and the WHO, the way they define good mental health. And sometimes people confuse mental health as well. Mental health is just our well-being. But, sometimes people confuse this with other things like, straight away, especially it strikes me within the African BME community, whenever we talk about these things, people are very afraid to address these issues. Not every day is a good day. Not every day is a good day. And because of this, we need to be looking after our emotions, after our spiritual being as well. And that may bring in the issue of what is your daily life like? What exactly is happening in our lives here today? And sometimes it's really, really difficult to talk about these issues. And Watson, lovely to see you as well. Thank you for joining in this great discussion. And for those who have just joined in, we're talking about stigma and mental health. Stigma and mental health. Why are people stigmatized? I think, why are people stigmatized in this area? How do we stop people from being stigmatized when they share their story? Are we able to help people so that people are not stigmatized? Let us be good champions of promoting good health. If someone tells you something, please learn to have confidentiality within your lives. Learn to support if it is somebody that you've identified with who needs help. It's not everybody's business, if they want to share something. And I think that's kind of stigma why people sometimes are so afraid to speak about their issues, is they're so scared who is going to know and all these kind of things. How do we break away from this kind of thinking? Benjamin, welcome, and Noel, welcome. Francis, welcome as well. And thank you so much to Ade Thomas for bringing this show live here as well. He is the founder of Heritage TV. Many thanks for broadcasting at my show as well, which is JNM1000 show. If you'd like to take part in my show, you know what number to call, which is 077 423 84052. That is my number. I repeat, for those who are outside the country and you'd like to take part to my show, it is +4477 423 84052. I was talking earlier on about how is mental health viewed in our African community. And I want to give you some throw points as well. People are afraid to talk about these issues. I mean, we are getting there, but how fast? People are very afraid of getting stigma, and of course that's also in the West as well. And in fact, that brings me into even work issues. If someone is suffering from mental health, are they comfortable to take this to their employers? Are they comfortable to really go and say, oh, you know what, this is what is happening to me and this is whatever? Let's talk about good mental health. And I want to appreciate employers who are promoting good mental health. Those employers are really doing us justice, because in some places of work, I remember I was traveling from Kenya, and I was on my way traveling from London to Kenya, and I sat with this beautiful lady, and she was telling me that she works in this stock exchange. I can't remember the exact company, but she was telling me how they give them this wrist, stopwatch, and every time they were supposed to, and they buy it for them. They buy them this lovely, beautiful wrist timers, watch timers, and I really took a lot of interest with that beautiful story that she was telling me. And the idea behind that was because the employer believed in good mental health. Let us follow such examples. I thought that was a really good story to share right now, because I felt that these are employers who are thinking about their employees, and they are thinking about mental health and time lost from work because of mental health. I have the statistics somewhere in my and I would be reading that at some stage, or I'll be typing that at some stage for you to know the statistics. But that example was really touched my heart, because good mental health is not just good for us ourselves, but it's good for the environment holistically. And let us talk about holistically. What is your spiritual life right now like? What is your well-being right? Are you connected? I love to talk about abundance, and I wouldn't want to say that I'm 100% there, but what I want to say is, let's begin to understand our own abundance and bring that joy within ourselves. How good are we at that? Are we able to meditate? Are we able, in India, for example, I see a lot of yoga and or yogi or whatever, meditation, all these kind of things. And it reminds me that that's all about having good mental wealth, good mental health and well-being. It brings us energy, it brings us smiles and laughters, as I would always say, and that is what we want. What is stigma and mental health? Our topic here today in London. Talking live here again is your one and only African Wonder Woman, Juliet Makapila. And please hashtag me at JNM1000, at JNM1000. And yes, African Wonder Woman. Yeah. I can say thank you so much for those likes as well. So people are asking me another question. How should they be able to cope with husband and wife quarreling? I'm not talking about husband and wife quarreling. I'm talking about, okay, I see the link there, but I'm talking about stigma and mental health. Okay, let me just address that question a little bit, because it's a question, and I love to answer questions when I get them. So if a husband and wife is quarreling, is that mental health? So I've rephrased it. If a husband and a wife is quarreling, is it mental health? And I would like to go and say, what do others think about that one? What do other people think about that one? If a husband and wife is quarreling, is it mental health? So I think it can lead to domestic violence. So we'll talk about breaking the silence of abuse in another program. But it can lead to depression if both of them are quarreling. And when it leads to depression, let me say, then it becomes a mental health. And that is sad. I believe that every husband and wife needs to be able to sit down and talk about what is causing their disagreement. And if you can sit down and talk about your disagreement, I believe you're all made for each other. And that is how I will answer that question. In terms of what we're talking about here today. We're talking about let's talk mental health. And this is really motivated. It's a motivation thing that I love to talk about issues, everyday issues. This program is about talking about those daily issues. For those who are joining me here today, is Juliet. Julliet, Juliet Makapila, and that is my name, Juliet Makapila. I think on the screen is showing Juliet, it's missing an L there, but it's Juliet Makapila, and it is at JNM1000, at JNM1000. If you're trying to go and send me an inbox, please for now, just avoid doing that, because I'm on air right now. For those who are trying to get in touch with me right now, I am on air and I can hear all of you. Just send in your comments, because I can watch and I can see you, all of you. I'd like to welcome a good sister as well, Yetunde Juliet Adishile, a very wonderful comrade. When I first started, when we went down 2016, Adishile actually sponsored books for us, and thank you so much, sister comrade Yetunde, for sponsoring our program, which is I run a different program on UK Africa Diaspora Forum. So thank you so much for that. And I want to welcome Titilayo. Titilayo is absolutely a lovely person who does Pacesetter. She's the founder of Pacesetter, and I want to welcome you as well. And thank you for joining in to support myself talking about stigma and mental health here. Silas Chikungwo, thank you for joining in, and I know you're watching from, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Zimbabwe, but thank you so much. We welcome Zimbabwe over here. Michael Ayonkule Oditola, I thank you so much for joining in. And Bambo Adesanya, I thank you so much as well for joining in. Here in the studio, again, I'm just bringing in the kind of discussion that I really love discussing about many variety things. Those issues should be about social, economic growth and our welfare. I love blending it in. I love humanity. I love looking after us all. And I love love, and love loves me. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, yes, let's make you happy a little bit, because we're talking about mental health. Mental health. How do I look here today? The sisters are clapping and they think I look beautiful. Yes, I'm looking beautiful. I know I am looking beautiful, but I thought we were talking about mental health, and I thought what's gonna break us and bring us to make us feel good. So, how do we respond to when people are telling us about mental health? How do we respond to that? When people tell us they have mental health, how do we stop? Are we always saying to them, I have no time? So, I've got no time. It's bell time. I got no time. I'm busy. I'm this. What's your time like? Yeah, when someone is reaching out to you, what is your time like? So that is why I have brought that bell. And how well are we able to give time to different people? I don't believe in my heart that you meet people just to meet them. I believe that that is a journey that we need to stop and embrace those moments. And that is me. I believe in that, and I know that sometimes when we reflect back within our souls and within our lives, really, I think that you can look at a time and you think to yourself, this is what we're meant to do. And you know, there is 3 or 4 things I always say to people. You know, even if you're sitting with someone next to the train, sometimes things will just interest you. I don't know about you, but about me, I'm a very interesting character. As you can see, African Wonder Woman. And I love being like that as well. I love my own uniqueness. I love being me. I love just enjoying myself and doing my own things. And this is my show, which is JNM1000 show. And we're talking about good health. Let's talk mental health. And earlier, again, I come back. I want to thank those people who are also working with improving people's health. I want to thank the churches, for instance, and all kind of faith groups. I want to thank them. I want to thank, you know, our hospitals. I want to thank our friends. And I'm talking about good friendship, not any just friends. Good friendship. What is good friendship with you? So, yes, that is what I wanted us to address. So, let's talk and be helpful and have awareness that is really genuine in terms of how do we promote goodness in our lives. What is goodness in our lives? I would be asking. What is goodness in your life? When you reflect, what is goodness? And somebody is asking me a question. Thank you. I've seen Gloria Jordan and, of course, Coach Alich, Irene Mudemba, and Jackie Cox, Ian MC Clive, and, of course, Irene Mudemba, Barbara, Chris, and Michael. Many thanks for joining in. Somebody's asking me a question again. How do we... I'll just read it. How do we promote good health if we are not doctors? How do we promote good health if we are not doctors? You know, it's not laughing matter there, but, you know, I'm just laughing to show you we can smile with each other. We can laugh with each other. We can dance with each other. We're going to have good mornings and good afternoons 10 times with each other. Nothing stops us from that. We sometimes create boundaries and all kind of things. And yes, sometimes we need all that depending on the setup and stuff like that. But I want to remind us that whenever we have got our good friends, is getting to know your friends. How many of you can really say that you really know your friends? How many of you can really say you know this friend and that friend and you can define? And let me talk about good friendship, by the way, because that impacts us on mental health as well. Good friendship is all about love. It's not like, love. Love is understanding each other unconditionally, I'm not talking about boyfriend and girlfriend. No. There is different kinds of love. With friends, you need love. With boyfriends and girlfriends, you need love. Different kinds of relationships and all that. So we are breaking these things because in talking about stigma and mental health, your immediate people become your circle of friends, and those people can either lift you up or neutralize you or make sure that you're not really doing anything. What's your friendship like? I'm asking people. Who are those people who are causing? There is some kind of friendship that I call toxic friendship. I don't know if you know that, but there's some kind of friendship that are really, really toxic. And I'm saying that it's time to say stop to those, to say no to those kind of a kind of friendship. Move on. If you can't get on, just I want to look into those issues, because we're talking about stigma and mental health. How do we get to stigma? Why are people stigmatized? I was asking earlier on. Penny Kapi Njure, karibu sana, asante sana, and thank you so much for everyone watching from Kenya, and Osuchi Ole, and of course Ola TJ Onyema, Anthony watching all the way from Nigeria as well, and Dolly Sanko. So we are taking this topic about mental health all the way to Nigeria, all the way to Zimbabwe, all the way to Kenya, and of course here in United Kingdom. Thank you so much to all of you, and Jackie Cox, Maitaku as well, for all joining in to help me discuss this topic. I love you all because you're all helping me to discuss this topic. You're right down here at JNM1000 Talk Show, and thank you so much for all the likes that you're also putting in. Many thanks. Daryl Emblem, what could you say about good mental health? I'm asking the question about mental health. Let's talk mental health here today. We're talking about mental health, and I will repeat that until it goes to everybody's ears, because this is a subject that people shy away from talking about. And so I'm really like wanting to be able to enable people to talk about good mental health. I want people to be able to Kitty, thank you so much for the likes over there as well. Penny, thank you so much for the likes over there. And I want people to be able to see that, to be able to be confident, to really, and by the way, somebody is asking me a question: how do we deal with death? That's another question. How do we deal with death? When death has happened, how do we deal with this? That is bereavement, Bereavement is something, and we all go through. I think I would say Ekanem, help me with that one. If you're still here, Ekanem, Robertson, please put some comments about bereavement. And I tell you what, bereavement is different people go through different episodes, and how you deal with that is something that is personal to different people. So I don't know if I've answered that one, but that is how I feel in terms of answering that question. Moses Ndale, many thank you for joining in. in this program of JNM1000 Talk Show. Stigma, I come back to stigma. Why is it that people are so afraid of talking about this subject? And people are afraid because it isolates them. It puts a label on people. It puts that kind of boundaries, like you don't fit in because something is wrong with you. And so this kind of ideas is really, really frightening, and it allows me to bring it in this subject with love. Balani, many thanks for joining in here today. So when we speak about the issues of mental health, I want us to look at it from 3 or 4 different perspectives, which is emotional. I want us to address the issue of a physical side of ourselves, and of course internally, and our well-being, and how we should be living our lives. I don't like telling people how to live their lives because I feel that's not for me to tell anybody how to live their life. But I would love to promote good mental health, well-being, in nurturing it in a sense of manner that it gives you a peace of mind. It brings in the nourishment that we all need. The nourishment, the kind of thing that we all want. And I come back to the issue of death because that question is still pending. So this, when people die, it can be a close friend, it can be a family member, it can be distant relatives and other distance. And that's why I say to you, people deal with these issues very, very different. In fact, I want to also address that in certain parts of Africa, the way they deal with when the way the ceremony is done, when somebody has passed on, so that they allow the people to mourn freely. Sometimes it can look, cultural wise, it can look very something else in a different part of the world. So it's getting to understand how different people actually mourn and not being judgmental. And that opens up the question of having an open mind with mental health, well-being. When do you take the person to the hospital? Someone asks me that question. And I think if somebody is suicidal on that, it's best to get help for them. And that's how I'll answer that question. But if somebody is just telling you that, oh, they're depressed and stuff like that, see how you can help that person cope with the issues if you can. And sometimes I always say it's best to get them to seek their own solutions. And how you best do that is by being a listening ear. It can be hard because sometimes you want to be them, or you want to fit in their shoe. But I always remind people that you are not me and I am not you. So if you decide and choose that you want to be somebody who is a listening ear to someone who is going through issues, it's best to do it well and do it wholeheartedly, and also learning how to keep that confidentiality so that they have somebody that they entrust upon, and that helps with time in healing, other than spread their issues. And sometimes the way it would come out to certain people, it becomes gossip. That does not help their mental health well-being. So I'm asking everyone to be mindful in whenever you have issues, when these issues are relating to mental health. But when the person is suicidal, then obviously that becomes something different and you could save a life. So we're talking about mental health here today. Many thanks, Olufunke Omodele, and of course Lubimbi. Lovely to see you here today. For those who would like to get to come to my show, I welcome you. It is different topics every week. different subjects, because that is the sort of person I am, and I do love bringing in different things and just drawing the inner soul. And today again, busted news, we are talking about mental health. And right down here in Heritage TV, many thanks for encouraging me as well to come in and continue doing my show. And the show you're watching here today is JNM1000 show. JNM is my initials of my name, so I called it that. But it also has a deeper meaning, which is joy and maximum. I embrace joy and live to the max. Now you can see why I chose that. I chose that about over 3 years ago, and that has been trending. Hashtag me at JNM1000, at JNM1000. And of course, somebody said to me, they see me always. Yes, I am the African Wonder Woman. And yes, cow food, many thanks. I love promoting our community with all kind of things, yes. And African Wonder Woman is where I coach as well. And I coach how do you find your true purpose and sense of being. That is what I do with that. So African Wonder Woman is that. But my show here today is to talk about a social, economic situation. And as I'm talking here today, the topic I set in today is the stigma and mental health well-being for all of us. How do you know your friends? Do your friends stigmatize you? That one. So people are laughing on that one. Africa, Bongo, Africa, and Acacia, Rose, karibuni sana. I welcome you. Karibuni in Swahili means welcome you all. So I'm looking at stigma and mental health. How do your friends take you? Do they stigmatize you unconsciously or consciously? And you know, for me, these are issues that I really, and I'm not afraid to bring real sense of talk. And talking point for me is the real, and you hit as it is. Yeah. So in the issues of challenges that people face, someone is asking me challenges that people face in mental health. There's a lot. You can imagine that somebody is well locked up. Do you ever go to see your friends if they've ever been locked up? Do you know about the mental health system here in United Kingdom? Do you ask your friends how they're feeling, or do you just, it's a good morning and you continue, or it's just you see them on Facebook? And how do you respond to your friends? How often do we check our families and our close dear ones? Are we always saying, earlier on I said, there is no time. So I got my little bell and time. Somebody is saying, oh wow. Yes, Indale, yes. And Lawrence Gakure, long time since I've seen you, but greetings all the way to Kenya. My show here today, Juliet November Mikey 1000 show, so it's JNM 1000 show. And thank you so much to everyone who is watching here today. Recommendation of what we should be doing. Oh yeah, okay. Someone is asking me, if someone is sick, how do we support them? Because when someone is sick, you know, disease also it brings in that depression. You know, sometimes our bodies are just not being, our bodies might just be going through something. Some people have got cancer, some people have got diabetes, some people have got arthritis, some people have got all kind of diseases. How do you support those people so that their mental health well-being is good? And I would like to share that one with you and say, again, how do you bring smiles in their day? You know, when the body is getting happiness, it heals itself as well. In health, by the way, there's different ways of looking at health. I did health sciences, so health is defined in different perspectives, and I don't want to mention all of them to you. here in on live broadcast. But having said that, I just love to take the simplicity of the things that good health encompasses us to support one another. You see, if somebody's got arthritis, you can just pick up a little ball and you can just go in and you say to them, you know what? How about if we exercise together and try and help them to stimulate their pain, as you can see. I'm going to quickly, because we're talking about how the coping strategies of how to promote good health. So I'm just showing you a little bit of a tip over there. Like myself, I've got this one here. I've got a little book of Calm Me Down. I've got a little book, and this one is by Paul Wilson. And in fact, I got this one from a present from a friend of mine. Her name is Eileen Phillips. You know, I usually get gifts from all corners, and thank you so much to everybody who has ever remembered me for any gift. Every little helps, I always say, and I always share something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the page that I have just opened, and I just do that like this, and that gives me a kickstart in some days, and I love that, and I have different ones. And this one says, accept only one deadline. Wow. Then it says, deadlines are the roots of so many stress problems. Take on only one deadline at a time, and you will become master of your own time. Did you hear that one? And then the next page says, you can see, I'm not just saying it, I just love to do it live, and that's just me. I just do it as I'm doing it. The next page says, float in a swimming pool, a float tank, or even a bathtub, and weightless feels your tension dissolve. And I love soaking in a good bath, as you can see. I love doing that. So I did that one, and I acknowledge this book. Over 2 million copies sold by Paul Wilson. It's a very simple book which fits in your bag, and you just keep it there. And you know, the little book of calm. So if you've been feeling so whatever, down and whatever, you just pick it up and just change your mood. You can say that. Thank you again for everybody joining in. Ton Tukumbo, and of course Susan Morgan. Many thanks for all joining in. Again, if you're just joining us, it is the JNM1000 show. And of course, today we're talking about mental health for those who are joining in all the way from Kenya again. And I want us to be able to bring these subjects right down in our own communities. Let's talk mental health. Hashtag Let's Talk Mental Health as well. That is a big charity. It's not my charity, but it's a big charity which says Let's Talk Mental Health. And I love to share this. So please, if you're going to share this, you're helping to share good mental health. And of course, you're allowing us to bring this, remove stigma when people are talking about mental health. 1 in 4 people suffer from mental health. 1 in 4 people. That means for every 4 people, you know, the next person has got mental health. What are big statistics? What are these issues causing people to really be depressed? Is it Britain that is making people depressed? Is it the weather? I don't know. But it's something somewhere is making people, or is it the just expectations? I don't know. I was watching Facebook founder talking the other day, and he was talking about people who have been born after 1984 have a higher percentage of getting into mental health because they're not used to doing things. They're used to just, you know, social medias and everything. And that made me really think, wow, these young people, we need to be talking to our young people more. We need to be talking to our youth more. We need to be looking after our youth so that they're not just into this kind of technology and their friendship is just on machines and everything. Let them learn how to relate to human beings. Let them learn how to speak and meet with their good friends. And that brings me back to you again. good friendship. Stephanie, many thanks. You've joined us. Okay, Stephanie. So, how is our youth? Look at the knife crime thing. Is it, in fact, I remember saying to Karen Johnson, how do we tackle Dr. Karen Johnson? I said, she's the founder of Out of a Corner. She's the founder, and I say to her, which is a program that deals with survivors and domestic violence. And I was saying, how do you, what more can we be doing so that we promote good mental health well-being? I was asking her, because as community change makers and leaders and transformers, myself, I'm a community change maker and community transformer myself. I love to connect things, and my biggest passion actually is connecting the dots, making sure, with promoting the SDGs and collaborating partnerships within all the little dots that I see. That gives me my biggest challenge, and it gives me my biggest happiness, and as soon as I see, I'm not afraid of learning and sharing. I don't feel insecurity. I want to actually make sure that we are living. Sometimes I ask myself, if I drop dead here today, and I'm sorry to think like that, what would people think of me? I would love you to think of me as somebody who enjoyed life. That is what I want you to, think of me. And somebody who really loves to love other people. That is really important. Loving is really simple, and learning and sharing is really important, and we can all do it for that matter. We can all do it. Ashanti Graham, thank you so much as well for joining in. Femi Adiyemi, welcome. And Femi Adiyemi, we went to school together. Many thanks for joining in as well. Stigma and mental health is our subject here today, and it's JNM1000 Talk Show. Somebody asks me, why the 1000? Why the 1000? And let me tell you why. It has got a meaning, definitely. And the meaning for the 1000 is I don't just give 100%. When I take on something, I love to give it 1000%. Talking to you here today about stigma and mental health. Let us enhance our world and help remove stigma and mental health from our world today. How do you do that? It starts with you. I always tell people, it starts with you. How are you with other people? What is it you do well? And if you're doing something well, continue with it. If you think that you're not doing something well, correct it. We all know what is right and wrong. And that's not for me to dictate as well. What I think is good and what I think is not good. At JNM1000, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel as well, please help me and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Juliet, Julliet, Mahapila, Makhapila. I repeat, Juliet Mahapila. And if you go to my YouTube channel, this clip will also be there. I want to appreciate again the technical team who are helping me to air this as well. Somebody is asking me a question. Yes, I can hear you. Yes. And I tell you what, the question is all about how do we bring in people to work together? What a question. How do you bring people to work together? That definitely causes stress. I am doing collaborating partnership is my biggest thing that I really enjoy. But getting people, partnerships are really complicated, if I may answer that one. Partnership needs to be looking at the same values, at the same things that people are interested with. Because when you're not in the same spirit, when your spirit is one is this way, one is this way, how can you get on? So what I would like us to do is to be peacemakers. And another thing as well, whenever we're talking about good mental health, there is something called forgiveness. And I would love to address the issue of forgiveness in many of us. Whenever we have something that is really, really hurting us, try and find forgiveness in whichever angle that you're looking at. And somebody said to me here that it's not easy to find forgiveness. I agree with you. It's not easy to find forgiveness. But I tell you what, whenever we are hurting and hurting so much, and you're not able to find forgiveness, what you do is the issue is still eating you up, and it's eating you up, and it's eating the other person up. And what happens is you have a very unhealthy relationship within yourself. So finding forgiveness is also a tip that I would like to give you. James Omanya, all the way from Kenya, and of course Harry Harry, I want to welcome you as well. If I've left anyone out, please forgive me. Sometimes I just love to appreciate every single one of you. And of course, NK Osuchi, I want to thank you as well. Dolly Sanko, I want to thank you. Jackie Cox, I want to thank you as well for joining in. And every one of you who has joined here today has supported this program in a manner that is beautiful. Please, all of you, if I have all of you sharing this video, it means that we are able to talk about helping to remove stigma and within the mental health system. So please, if you've not shared this video, please help me share, because I want this video to be able to enhance the discussions of Let's Talk Mental Health, and that is what I want everybody to be able to do. Duchess Nena, thank you so much. And Duchess, I love you to bits. It's an amazing topic. And I remember one time when you came out and talked about depression and stuff like that, and not shying away to bring in the issues that surrounds depression. I want to thank you for helping viewers and many people. And you must come to this show. Duchess is a very lovely person. And again, sometimes Duchess will just be telling me what you eat. If you're not eating very well, vegan food, and she really enjoys promoting organic food and that kind of taste. And that's really good, So that's all part of promoting good mental health and well-being. So I appreciate you, sister, comrade, Duchess Nena, for the work that you do as well. And she's a good cook as well. So if you're looking at somebody to cook vegan food, there you are. Sister Duchess will always find ways to bring that healthy aspect of helping us to eat well and benefit really from the nutrition the food is giving us. People are saying that I look nice here today, and I know you all look well as well, or wherever you are. But let's focus on the issue of mental health. What makes people not talk about what makes people be so much afraid of the word mental health? Or should we be changing this word of mental health and call it something else? So that people are able to just say, what, this is what is happening to me. We talk amongst ourselves. But also the friends you keep as well can really make you either make you feel here. I was talking earlier on about neutralizing people, which is a very bad thing, and that's a wicked way to be. I'd like to address about wickedness and how the wickedness is. I don't want us to be like that. I want us to build a better world. There is enough for everyone, should I say. And as I talk about this issue, I'm reminded that I've got another sister of mine here. And the sister of mine here, these are cards as well. Some of the ways that I will just put stuff in, and this my little bag or big bag or whatever, I like to keep little things in it which remind me. And this one, I call it The Value in You. I bought it from a dear comrade of mine, a fantastic lady. Her name is Roxanne M. St. Clair. So I love her to bits. And she loves, I told her that I love to play her cards. So we're going to play cards together as well. So here we go. So we're going to play cards just like I did with the book, which earlier on I'll be sharing alongside some of the books that I read, and just get to know me. And if you'd like to come to my show as well, please do feel free to come to my show. Call me, we will discuss, and the telephone number is 077 423 84052. Right, let me pick up a card. Let me pick up a card. Am I ready to pick up a card? I nearly cheated there, but here, I will go in and pick up my card. So, my card says here today, gratitude. Ha! Gratitude. Let's talk about gratitude and mental health. How many people really appreciate you? And how many people will always say, yeah, look at her and all these and blah, blah, gossipers. Anyway, gratitude. It says, gratitude is closely linked to appreciation, as when you can appreciate what you have, see, feel, taste, and hear. That is gratitude in action. Appreciating the life that you have helps you to recognize how much you have to be grateful for. That reminds me, how many of us remember and are we able to be grateful amongst ourselves? The cards here today, and I bought these ones from Sister Roxanne M. St. Clair. I bought these cards from her. And I do love promoting my sisters and everyone who brings me, shows me lovely things and genuinely brings in and supports us as well. So you've heard about gratitude. So that gratitude is closely linked to appreciation. As when you can appreciate what you have, see, feel, taste, and hear, that is gratitude in action. Appreciating the life that you have helps you to recognize how much you have to be grateful for. And I think Sister Ekanem would agree with me that some of us don't even appreciate what we have. And what happens is when we are not able to appreciate even what we have, we begin to think that we are someone else, and we are not. Let us learn to be gratitude with who we were born to be. And that is really, really important for me to bring that there, because I just felt that talking about this is really, really important. And so I'm sharing you some of the tips and other things, well-being, and, you know, just how well are we, both spiritually, physically, and of course, our spiritual being and physically, and how well are we. Mercy Philip, thank you for joining in, and Bishop Hackman, many thanks for joining in. Because of time, how many people are always making others stressed because of lack and poor? I am also a victim as well. I admit, but you know, there's no buts. By the way, there's no buts in our language these days. It's and. I'm correcting people. So can I say that let us learn to keep time. Let us, especially from the African perspective, whenever we are coming in for these shows and everything, if you decide you're coming to my show, please remember to keep time, because when you don't keep time, it means we are delaying someone else, and it also means that the show is running late, and that is not fair for the next person, and it causes stress. So let us be respectful, and when we learn to be respectful, we also promote good health. We're talking about good mental health, good mental health, and we're also talking, let's talk mental health and the stigma and mental health attached. We've looked into so many things here today, and I tell you what, I'm getting so many people telling me they've shared. May I appreciate every single person that has shared this today. I will definitely watch it. We have what we call watch party, so I'll be repeating this program because I like to watch myself so that I know where I will improve as well. But on top of that, for those people who have shared, I take this opportunity to thank all of you. And as we finish the program, I want to ask all of us to live in abundance. I hope I've given you enough tips. Somebody says I should wear my gogo. Okay, you want to see that? I hope I've made you laugh. Please share this video at JNM1000, at JNM1000. And you know, I love this one here as well. Usually, I love to say, you know, as I sit down here, you know, the cameras pointing at me everywhere. So I love to also just make myself happy. I love to make everybody happy. That is good mental health well-being as well. So as we close down, and if I have not answered all the questions, it's because sometimes I can't pick up all the questions as well. Right on time, and the best way to do is to send me a little text. If you send me the text message, I will say, but don't try and ring this phone because I'm also airing it and I'm using it live. Earlier on as we started, you saw, you could hear yourself. So yes, I hope I've been able to touch a lot about good mental health well-being. And thank you so much for every single person that has watched here today. We've touched on issues of a good mental health. We've touched on how to cope with bereavement. We have touched on good relationship. We have touched on matters to do with stigma and challenging stigma in mental health. Someone else asked me a question about husband and wife and quarrels in the home, how best to deal with that. We've touched on that as well. So let us promote our well-being. Until then, it is your one and only Juliet Makapila, and if you'd like to come back to my show again, it is +44 77 423 84052 every Thursdays. If you'd like to come to my show, the show is every Thursday. I take this opportunity to appreciate Olori. I appreciate you. I take this opportunity to appreciate Ade for supporting so many people. Thank you so much for this. And I take this opportunity to thank all the viewers that have come on board today. Until then, it's a goodbye from me, Juliet Makapila. And next week, I will be bringing in the topics week by week. So next week, we've got another program. Please tune in. Someone is asking me a specific time, but I aim to be on show by around 6, I would say, I'll be aiming to be on the program between 5, 6, 7. So different kinds of topics comes in. And at this particular time, today, right now, was just about stigma and mental health. Until then, it's a goodbye from me. And don't forget to buy your little books of things that encourage you. And somebody also suggested to me music. Yes, that is definitely a yes. Music is good for the soul. Music is something that I love doing. You always see me dance. You always see me just chill. And you choose your own music. Don't try to be me. Be yourself. When you're yourself, you get the best out of yourself. Don't try. I see all these people. I know I'm a coach, but I don't want you to be me. I want you to take the good bits, but I want you to create yourself. Until then, time is up. Good night, everybody. See you later. And I thank you, everyone. Bye-bye, everyone.